So hello, whoever is out there watching. I'm Kelly Atkins, the founder of Kai. Kai is an integrated method of movement that brings fitness and depth and healing and expansion to the body, mind, spirit. And I feel so blessed to be able to share it with people around the world in this way. So these calls are called the Kai Connect Now portal calls. And I offer them once a month. And they're open to anyone who has been a subscribed member of the Kai Connect Now community. And I'm just seeing, I think people might be trying to log on. So we're going to see people come on, hopefully, and I won't have to talk the whole time. But if you belong to the Kai Connect Now portal, you get access to hundreds of videos that include workshops as well as regular classes, and then these monthly calls. There's Rachel. Hi, Rachel. Is your microphone on? I don't know if you can hear me. There's Sajin. We are on video, just so you know, everybody. This is being recorded. See if microphones are working. Sage, your microphone isn't on. It looks like it's not on.
There we go. Is that okay?
There, now I can hear you. So
Okay.
Sajin Melcher is a Kai teacher. He's been traveling around the world.
Hello, everybody.
Doing all kinds of things. Thanks for being on this call today, Sage. Can you hear us? Oh, good. He's finding a spot. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
Everything's
good.
good. Hey, Rachie. How's it going?
Yay, guys!
Are your videos off?
It is?
Yeah,
No,
you're just audio.
I might be another person calling in too. Natalia is another graduate of the Kai program. And so is Lisa from Michigan, who's supposed to be on the call. So we'll just let them
see me?
No, I can't.
Okay. Well, that's weird because it says, let me check my app.
I could see
my face.
I could see you, Rachel. I don't know why.
Oh, yeah. I don't know why Sage can.
So welcome to the call. I'm going to start with having us just ground together and kind of like feel our connection. One of the intentions behind these calls is simply that we feel connected, and we can do that with language, but we can also just do that by sensing each other. Hi, Lisa. Is your microphone on? Can you say hello, Lisa? I just want to check that everybody has their, Lisa, can you hear me? There's a little, if you can hear me, there's a little microphone button on the bottom, and make sure that's on. Let me make sure I don't have anybody turned off. Sage is on. Oh, Rachel, can you say something? Maybe I need to turn. Oh, good. Perfect. Thank you. So I know that's on. Lisa's going to dial back in. Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to have us do a grounding exercise and take a moment to notice the parts of your body that are closer to the ground or touching the ground. That may be your feet, or maybe you're sitting down on the earth. But as you bring your attention, your awareness down to the parts of your body, invite your body to relax and be held. So we're going to relax the thighs, relax the hips, soften the belly, and then invite your breath to go deep down into your belly. So it's like a Buddha breath, inhaling a nice full breath. And as you exhale, let go of any stress or anxiety or extra energy that you're feeling from our connection, and let's settle more deeply into our bodies. Hi, Lisa. You might even let out a sound on your exhale if that's helpful. One more deep, full breath into your belly. And a long exhale out. And now I'm going to invite you to do a little bit of movement, because sometimes some of us feel more comfort and stillness when we're moving. So from wherever you are, start to circle the rib cage, rock a little bit on your pelvic bowl. Hi, Lisa. Can you hear us?
I couldn't, but I can now.
Beautiful. Thank
And
you
I
for
really need this
persevering.
today.
Awesome. So we're just circling around the spine a little bit and bringing pleasure into the body together. And if your body wants to go in a different direction, go in a different direction. You might soften the neck, let the shoulders go with it. One of the things we can do with our eyes is let them blink a few times and look off screen, and then maybe see out of the corners of your eyes, peripheral vision. So we're not locked completely on the screen. Go and keep finding that movement pleasure. If there's a sound that wants to come out, feel welcome to do that, or a stretch or a hug. Sometimes nice to open the jaw, slide it out, side to side, move the tongue around in your mouth. It's kind of fun to watch on the screen. As I watch you all, I see flesh and bones and faces. And then gradually bring yourself back into a place of stillness. Settle back into where you're touching the earth. And scan through. See if you can find one sensation and go ahead and share it out loud, what you sense in your body.
Contracted.
Any particular area?
Shoulder, the shoulder girdle.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
From yoga yesterday.
Gotcha. Let's see if maybe we can move it. So as we're talking through our conversation, feel welcome at any time to do self-healing movement while we're talking. So it doesn't have to be kind of the socially acceptable way of having a conversation where you feel like you can't move. You can move and play with healing at the same time as listening and connecting. Who else? What's another sensation?
Fire.
Fire. Where do you feel fire, Rachel?
I feel it here, and solar plexus.
Gotcha.
Not having to do with this phone call.
It's all good. Whatever you're sensing is your body giving you information. So what a gift.
Gratitude.
I think I feel a little bit of confusion, pleasantness in the abdomen, joy in the heart, and then confusion in my mind.
Gotcha. Yeah. Nice. I feel some kind of like this, I feel like a wave sensation from my hips. I just got through dancing Kai, and we focused on rhythm and different parts of the body. And one of the parts of my body that was like really felt joy was my hips in the rhythm. I really felt like this explosion of joy, and it's still reverberating through me. Natalia, hi, can you hear us? Natalia is a Kai, she did the Kai training a few years ago, and she's just joining late, so she may have to figure out where the microphone is to turn on. If you can't hear us, Natalia, you can follow along, but go ahead and say something if you can, if your microphone's working. There's a little microphone right at the bottom of the screen to click to make it work. And I'm also feeling a sensation of a little soreness in my throat. My influenza went through the whole family, so we've been healing from it, and I'm on the last end of it. And so it's tickling there a little bit. So I'll invite all of you to pay attention to your bodies as you're experiencing our call. So it'll be more than just listening. It'll be a body experience. And I just was saying before anybody got on the call, the major intention behind these calls are for anyone who's part of the Kai community Connect Now portal, so that all of us get a chance to see each other, feel our bodies while we practice communicating, practicing other Kai tools, whatever the theme is, and truly getting a sense of inspiration, love, practice, connection, and ways that we can encourage each other to stay on a path of embodiment. The theme this month particularly is about rhythm and feeling like what are the natural rhythms that are happening around us, like the season changes, and then we have this artificial sense of time and they just changed it. So sometimes if we're really tuned into artificial time, the clock time, it can feel jarring. But there's also natural time, like the cycles of when the leaves fall off the trees and when it snows, or when the cycles that we go through in life are also natural cycles that we're in. So we can look at all of these cycles within cycles and bring it right down into cycles of our day, cycles of our breathing, cycles of our movement, like walking is a rhythm. And we can find music that's like the backdrop to attune with, to disrupt some cycles and be able to dance with a lot of different kinds of rhythms in different parts of our bodies. That's a way to help release tension. So we'll play with that a little bit in a bit. But I wanted to make this interactive and give you all a chance to just share. You've got experience teaching. All of you have experience teaching. So maybe sharing a little bit about how when you share rhythms with people in a group setting and dancing, or from a personal participation standpoint, what is it about it that you enjoy the most?
I think I'll start. And that's normally what I go through if I were to share rhythm is normally I see it as form, as like we're immersing into the form and the structure of the rhythm, that there is this wholeness there, whether it's the breath or we're integrating rhythm in the feet, and then we're surrendering into it, to this rhythm of form, and that the deeper I can deepen and surrender into that rhythm, whether I'm making it with the feet or with my breath or just tuning in, then it's like I become single focus my mind, and in that state where everything is completely calm and single focus, I like to go from there into the authentic movement and stepping away from the form, and realize that the rhythm helps to deepen my authentic movement practice. And I find it goes hand in hand. I can get into a heightened state of concentration by focusing on the form and the rhythm, and then by letting go of holding on to the rhythm, I find myself more relaxed in the moment, present.
Nice.
So it's an interesting balance, yeah.
So the rhythm
Cool.
gives you something to grasp onto, so then you can let go. It sounds like into the authentic.
Yeah, it gives you something to hold on to, and then even the rhythm, it can be let go, but the presence which you bring into authentic movement, that still remains, and it's even more clear. It's even more apparent. I feel with the inclusion of the rhythm.
I can relate to that for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can relate to that as well, especially being really new at teaching Kai. I feel the nerves before I start, and I sense the fear in the room because it's so new to everyone. And I'm facilitating in chiropractic offices and the corporate setting right now.
Mm-hmm.
So they're in spaces that might bring some fear up about, what is this we're going to do kind of thing. And as soon as I get into, very similar to you, Sage, as soon as I get into the authentic movement, it really shifts, not just for me and my nerves, but I think it shifts the fear in the room into joy. That's the main thing that I noticed about facilitating is using the authentic movement to help people relax a bit more.
Yeah, the volume on your thing is very small, but I think it could be my computer. So I heard bits and pieces. And I think what I heard you say is that you're teaching in a corporate setting and there's some fear around authentic movement. But I don't know if I heard you correctly, but when the beats come on, it helps people relax. Is that what you said?
Let me try it without my speaker, Kelly. Can you hear me?
Oh, that's
way
better.
better.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
good.
because I can't hear you very well without this speaker, but that's okay, as long as you can hear me during this part. So, Sage, everything you said is exactly what I'm experiencing as a new facilitator. But when I'm teaching right now in chiropractors' offices in the corporate setting, so I sense the fear in the room along with my fear. And as soon as I move into authentic movement and invite them to start moving their bodies, and three things: the authentic movement that really moves all of us from any of my fear or nerves, that moves that for me. But I observe this over and over again, where it immediately moves anybody that looks a little nervous about what they're doing because it's so new, and what if they can't do it right, and all those things, the self-judgment that comes up. We all end up moving the fear into joy really quickly with the authentic movement. And then the other two components that people are loving in the feedback I'm getting are the stretching things that I'm showing, especially if they're in the corporate setting, stuck in a chair and a desk all day. And then the third thing is doing some guided visualization meditation at the end. They all want more of that. So I'm finding more than anything, the Kai experience for me and anybody that's sharing it with me, it's just really a quick transition from any kind of trepidation, fear, or self-judgment into joy. That's the main thing that I love about Kai, whether I'm doing it alone or doing it alone with you, Kelly, online in my home, or whether I'm doing it with new people in corporate or chiropractic settings.
Oh, I think that's so awesome that you're teaching in those settings. What a perfect group that need those dance breaks so bad. And
yes, I agree.
I was looking at before our call about some of the research behind brain and rhythms. And one thing they found is that people that have Parkinson's disease, which is damage that's happening in a certain part of the brain so that the body can't move very well and has a hard time on its own moving to a specific rhythm, any kind of rhythm. It's a disrupted rhythm. But when they practice dancing with someone and they showed a video of it, moving their feet to the beat, just walking to the rhythm of a beat, it bypasses the part of the brain that's dysfunctional, and their body can start to walk in a rhythmic way, in a more fluid rhythmic way. And they're saying that this is one of the effects of music on the brain, rhythm in particular. And they still aren't sure why or how it does it, but it bypasses the parts that are damaged. So it somehow just like bypasses that loop and starts to develop a new pattern of walking. So it's new and really exciting research. And I think it goes hand in hand with what you were saying, Lisa, like somehow we might be so used to a fear brain that we look at everything from fear, but somehow rhythm and dancing has that magical quality. It seems like magic, but it's actually practical, that it just turns on another part of the brain that activates pleasure and joy and different new patterns.
That's awesome, Kelly.
Yeah.
I was caring for a baby and I turned on some music and she just started moving. And it's just an innate thing. The body something, I'm not sure where from, but it's innate to move
Yeah.
with music.
You know,
Yeah.
Rachel, and it's funny because we're also different. I have some people that say, I have no rhythm, I can't dance. Or they'll say, I can't hear the beat, or I can't feel the beat. And I know that that is possible to go from that place of saying I can't hear the beat, I can't feel the beat, and then to move into this deep pleasure of a rhythm starting to come in. It just takes practice. But I'm wondering, what would you say? Yeah, what would you say to someone who has a hard time finding the beat? What would you say?
I would say close your eyes, take a deep breath so you can connect into the body, and wait for a sensation and a movement to arise. And they could maybe go into their mind and start thinking about it. So then I'd probably just have them wiggle it out, and get them out of their mind.
I love it. I love that you said have them close their eyes and go into their bodies. Because one thing I can say in common for many people who have a hard time finding the beat, they tend to be thinkers, like thinking in their head a lot. So it's like taking out that one sense of thinking and going into being with a rhythm to go into a new way of experiencing the body.
If they're saying I can't, that's a limitation of the mind. So that's a clear clue. Get them out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to feel their body and to feel the sensations or pulsations naturally from their body.
Yeah.
I think and what helped yesterday when I facilitated was it was just like this gentle reminder to the others there that you can't mess this up. You can't mess the rhythm up. Nor can you get it wrong. It's your own practice. So it's I find that when the pressure is there, that it doesn't have to look a specific way, and it allows others to relax. And in that relaxing, it's almost like a rhythm can form on its own. That it's just a reminder that it doesn't have to appear any specific way. A person can even practice the rhythm and be off the rhythm, and eventually that's the practice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that it'll appear on its own.
Yeah. You know, and I found a couple of different tools that work with that. Like one is the biggest powerful thing you just said was relaxing, and then allowing it to come when it comes. There's no forcing it. You can't force a beat and really truly feel it in your body, I don't think. But I can also sometimes go play with the beat, like go faster than the beat, or shake up a body part to kind of change up the muscle pattern, and then wait and feel something come through, like a new connection to something, just to wake up a body part, especially if there's a part of me, like I might find it easy in my feet, but have a hard time finding the beat in my shoulders or collarbones. I see that often with like shimmies, people not finding rhythmic movement in the shimmies. There's some holding here. So like doing some kind of a flutter or a sound can help release tension, and then a new experience of finding the rhythm can happen for me. There's a deep satisfaction with the rhythm, with a beat, and that's what a rhythm is a series of beats in a row inside of the music. But it's where we all connect, just like on this phone call. There's something in our conversation that connects us, and there's moments of waiting in silence, and then moments of something that wants to pulse or come forth. And the more we can be sensitive to it, the more it flows with, I think, grace and pleasure. I wonder if any of you want to speak to that, like this, how conversation has a beat or a rhythm.
Yes, I do want to speak to that. Whoops.
Go ahead, Lisa.
Go ahead, Sage. I can go. Okay.
Yeah, no, Lisa's here. Let's hear.
I think when I start facilitating the beginning of a class with some people that are still new to Kai, if they need to speak, I try to just let that happen authentically, and that becomes the rhythm of the connection with conversation, the greeting when they all come in the room, because I'm usually in the room first to have it set up, all the way through to when they get stuck feeling like they can't maybe do one of the 21 moves, because I tell them it doesn't have to be done right or wrong. I like to bring in drumming in the air, or drumming with your fist, or open drumming. And everybody seems to really find that. I know, Kelly, you said it relieves a lot of tension and stress from the neck and shoulders. And everybody seems to really like that. So the rhythm, starting with the conversation in the beginning all the way through to the movement, I think stays in one consistent flow, if that makes sense.
It makes so much sense, and it's so welcoming. Hearing you say that feels so like supportive of that relaxation we were talking about earlier. Just the welcoming that whatever anybody comes in, if they're coming in, they're chatty or they're quiet or they're like welcoming all of it, and then somehow blending it, and just feels like it's less disruptive than like, okay, everybody line up and let's start. You know, it feels like it has a rhythm.
Exactly.
Beautiful.
And one quick thing to add to that, in the corporate setting, there's a woman who's asking very intelligent questions, and at first some of her coworkers seemed annoyed with her because I guess she has a lot of questions.
Oh.
So I've been trying to ease the balance of the group, and it seems like it's working, and that's what I love about Kai. It seems like it's bringing more peace, more acceptance of another, and if she's just more inquisitive, that's okay. You know, she can't ask 6 questions before every class, but she doesn't do that because I find a way to, I actually just talk about crystal language and allowing that to kind of allow us to, you know, move into a little chat and then move into crystal language being now we're going to move. I know you and I talked about that before, Kelly, not having someone run away with a class because they need to talk a lot.
Yes. Oh my gosh. That's so, you're developing that art of, it's almost like leading an orchestra, right? There's like all kinds of information coming in all different personalities. And just so much honor for everyone holding space for others in group situations, because I think that right now in this day and time, groups are needed, for any kind of group, are needed so much. And it takes a lot to relax your body as a facilitator and come from compassion, and yet have boundaries of saying when do you move the energy in a different direction, because it can be hijacked really easily and get stuck or get uncomfortable when it's a group class. So it's everybody's experience, and you're the one balancing that. Thank you for stepping into that and doing it so beautifully.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you, Lisa.
You know, the opposite of fear is love, in my opinion.
Yes. And I'm so grateful for these calls so we can share from all perspectives, from the participant who is taking class, the awareness that they're bringing in something and that they might be reflective about what it is they're bringing in, and that it's honored and valued, and they're helping to hold the space as well. As if you're the leader and you're going in with, you know, just a deeper and more expanded place. So there's people of all different, coming in from all different kinds of places.
Yeah.
Something that, oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Rachel.
Something that's been present today is, it's like the dissolving of, you know, we are one in the same space, but where's in my body, in my energy field. You know, tuning into maybe someone who is struggling with confidence, and it's like, is it my confidence that's struggling? Is it theirs? And finding again those boundaries, coming back into a lot of practices that I've kind of let go, to come back into just sensing and feeling, and like, yeah, what is yours, what is mine, what is ours, I think comes from Nako.
Yeah,
I love that.
it's such a practice of clearing any codependency things, of taking on other stuff, or of taking control all the time, like either end of the spectrum. It's a real delicate balance of not doing that, in the grace of holding space for people to grow into being their best, which is sometimes so difficult.
Yeah, sometimes I can see from like some of the archetypal teaching, like the sage and wanting to stay, or discerning when someone's not open, and maybe just looking off the energy a bit, or when they're rebels pushing because there's something within them maybe feeling lack, and to not allow myself to take that personally.
Yeah.
And to illuminate again in my light. And it's like, you know, with women sometimes it's like not having to belittle yourself because someone else is feeling insecure. It's like, how can I remain grounded in my presence? And as I stay centered and their pull doesn't off-center me, it can help them look at themselves and rise when they're ready.
Yes. I think there's such a gift in everything that you're saying so much right now. It's I think a test of modeling the work, like modeling it, walking it, sometimes very challenging and sometimes with more grace or ease.
Thank you, Rachie.
What was that, Sage?
I said thank you, Rachie.
Ah, yes, thank you. So, the other, oh, go ahead, Sage.
Okay. Yeah. One last thing is that that I actually find like it was very helpful for people there to know, like, when you're coming in, to actually step into this place of authenticity, that it may initially feel uncomfortable in the beginning, and you know, like, even that's okay of stepping into that place of uncomfortability, because that's where the growth is. It's the analogy being like a lotus in the mud, and like in the muddiness and the uncomfortability and in all of the emotions, then you get to flourish and you get to grow into your own potential.
Yeah.
Which is what I see at this practice is, we're recognizing this infinite potential that has always been there, but it may feel initially uncomfortable in the beginning, and that's okay. And I've been introducing that, like, you're probably going to feel uncomfortable, and that's an aspect that I don't hide. I just introduce it off the bat.
I think that's so beautiful, especially adding that you talk about that with them, and that you're bringing compassion, self-compassion, personal vulnerability, and then the gift of that. I mean, that is, like you said, that is where we grow. Even like a plant, it will not get a strong stem if the wind and all these challenges don't come. It's the challenges that make us build that stem, and then the practice that we get the roots in, and the reaching for more joy that eventually comes when we practice something and develop flow, or feel that moment we're all connected on the beat. Like, it's all worth all the work once we get that one moment. It's like, oh yes.
Just reminded of tuning in, closing the eyes and tuning into the heart. Taking those brief pauses can help us recenter.
Yeah.
And to sense into the room too and the energies, and then pulse from there.
Yeah. And I've noticed that even after dancing for many, many years, there are days that the rhythm, I'm on it and it's feeling ecstatic, and like I can't be too attached to the rhythm. If I'm too like hooked in, like I think that's where the gift is, then I'm almost stuck. Like there's something in me that's not paying attention to a lot of other things. There's this balance of there's the rhythm, but there's the space before the next beat. So I'm not like hardening in on it because the group will follow me. So if I'm saying, come on, you know, I'm reinforcing in them, oh, I'm not good if I don't get the rhythm. Like there's an ego attachment of if you get the rhythm, then you must be a dancer, you know, or something like that. So I really, if I go in as a beginner and let myself play like a child would with the rhythm. So I'm playful in it and I'm playful out of it, and both are equally fun. I'll go in that way sometimes.
I need to add to that, Kelly. My first
Yes, please do.
Class, I was so wanting to get it right, represent you all high, and I had already done some classes with a chiropractor and with the assisted living brain center last year, or a few years back, you might remember. But anyway, with this particular one, I just put a lot of extra pressure on them, and I kept changing the music. And anyway, it wasn't my best class, even though they liked it. There was too much ego of trying to be like, why? How would Kelly Atkins want me to do this? You know what I mean? And it put so much pressure on myself that it took away from the experience of, you know, I did retrieve it, but how that was retrieved by, you know, midway through the class, I like to use instruments, and they're just rattles and tambourines and things like that. And it immediately takes everybody to their inner child, I believe. And now with that corporate group, I always have my instruments, but that really helps me to shift from ego to like, oh my gosh, just trying to get everything to be perfect. That's not what Kai is about. But sometimes I think we all feel our confidence wavering, and that's the ego. But it was so beautiful that the instruments helped to retrieve my insecurities and my fear. Let's face it, that's all fear and the ego.
That's fantastic, Lisa. That is so fantastic that you're bringing in toys and that you're aware of that it really does help. In fact, today in class, we used these big bouncy balls that were in the fitness center, and we just started bouncing with rhythm and tapping them and dancing with them. I'll post a video later, but toys do help, I think. And I just want to honor also, Lisa, your practice, your personal practice of growing personally right along with professionally, how you're offering it wider is so beautiful to watch. It is like, it touches me in such a deep place. And all the women and men that you're able to connect to and touch, the power that you're growing inside and outside is so awesome and amazing.
Thank you, Kelly. I feel the same about you all. I don't even know you all in person, but I still feel the same way about every single one of you.
So there's one more thing I want to tie rhythm in with is they've also noticed that they've done studies and research that rhythm helps with learning. And so it's especially effective for people who have dyslexia or have problems focusing, or it helps kids who have a problem with enunciating words. So the part of the brain that gets stimulated when we listen to rhythm is an auditory area, and it's a motor complex area where we start to tap our toes. It's very close by, and both get stimulated when we listen to beats. So that's why even babies, if they hear rhythm, sometimes their head will start going. Like it automatically stimulates that part of the brain. And that's where our language is a percussive sound. Our language is a percussive sound. The sounds that we make, all those sounds start to form beats, and that's how we learn languages. It's a rhythmic process in the same part of our brain. So it's really effective for looking at rhythms, not just in the dance, but our life as a dance is a series of choices that we make, and looking at experiences that we have, and how do we find the pattern and make the choice so that it's like a dance step when we make our next step. And one of the gifts of being compassionate to yourself with learning a rhythm is that in life, we're going to have times that are going to suck a little bit. It just is like that. It's not going to be every single time it's joyful. We're going to have times that are highs and lows. But if we can be compassionate with ourselves and have built tools of understanding this, we can say, oh, okay, so I failed. I didn't get that job, or that opportunity fell through. But I've seen opportunities fall through before, and I felt the upbeat. I felt the detail of this. So I'll just wait. There'll be something else. And we can keep noticing our choices and our high moments, the moments that we feel most powerful, most strong, most vital, most vibrant. And they can be like, I'm aiming towards that. And, I'm feeling this here. And then, oh, I had a good moment. Now I'm back here. And we can keep finding that as a beat or a rhythm in our life. So
I love that.
Yeah, and they've actually done research. Some of the latest research are people who have PTSD or traumas and how it affects our brain. It makes it have a dysfunctional pattern where we start looking at things around us like they're dangerous, or we're back in that old thing. So a way to get out of that old loop is to start to change our perspective. And it's not looking at things as black or white, it's looking at all of it, so that we can be calmer and more relaxed when we're starting to experience something. So some like, okay, I'm not getting the beat yet, but I'm really calm and I'm playing with it. It's similar to someone with PTSD who maybe, okay, this situation, I'm feeling myself triggered, but I'm not going to react right now. I'm just going to breathe through it, or do something different than what my reactionary pattern is. So it's a very similar part of the brain. And this playing with patterns and playing with rhythms can help us in our life like dance like that, to get out of some of those old emotional patterns of reactivity. Any thoughts on that? I see Natalia's microphone still not on. Let's see if I can get it on. Unmute. Not letting me.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Kelly. Mwah, mwah, mwah.
Mwah. Go ahead, Lisa. What are you going to say on that?
Oh, at the top of my screen, it was muted before. When you guys couldn't hear me, I had my speaker on and I couldn't hear you, but then I saw at the top there was a button to unmute it, so then I could hear you better.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I'll use the mute mic when I'm not speaking, just so you guys don't get a bunch of feedback in the back or babies crying or anything like that. So, so I'll definitely do that, but I'm still here.
It's so great to have your energy on this call. I could feel it when I saw you trying to get on before. It's so great to have you back down here in Florida too, Natalia.
Thank you. We're home again, and I'm so happy to be present. In the high energy, it's so beautiful how it just is there. And I love, Kelly, that you brought up that PTSD and, those traumatic times in our life. It's like, no matter how stable we think that our peace and our center is, something will come and a wave will just whoosh, and, the traumatic parts just kind of open up again. And, it's definitely layers too. Getting out of it, I think going into it is layers, kind of like, a cave metaphor, something like that. And then getting out is just layers, being really compassionate again and just starting kind of all over again.
Oh, beautifully put. Yes, I feel that so much. I think with dance, it's such an expression of allowing yourself to feel all of it and how the body takes it on. And then how can we, just gradually, gently, with love, open ourselves to new breaths, new beats on a new day. Feel that dance. Any other thoughts on that? I was just going to see if I shared the full amount on that part. One thing I wanted to say, we started our call moving and finding pleasure. And one of the major important things with PTSD or dealing with any kind of trauma and rhythm with the brain is to remind yourself, or to remind your students in class if you're leading a class, or if you're taking the class online, to remind yourself continually what feels good. because it can be very easy to go into the pain mode of what hurts. And we want to keep track of it for sure, as all sensation. But finding, they specifically said to find pleasure and to find safety, like, am I safe? And to find the memories that you have when you felt the strongest, the safest, and the most confidence, and that those memories can bring your sensations back into that place of pleasure anytime that you're doing the work where you're doing it. Maybe you go to class and you're like, okay, today's one of those days I can feel there's some heaviness or darkness. I need to explore the shadow. If you remind yourself of that place, that you're in a safe place, and remind yourself of a memory beforehand, it can help you to sort of support yourself in that dive so that you can come back out of it and not get like stuck down in the muck and down in a rhythm that maybe is something you don't want to resonate with always. You want to maybe do some work sometime or ask people to support you, but you don't want to go in like unconsciously and get stuck. That can be a tool to use.
I love that, Kelly. I'm going to use that. Friday, I teach again at the corporate setting. So I'm going to use that for my nerves.
Yeah, I'll sometimes start class with gratitude as a like a simplified way of getting the vibration into that. But you could also say, have everybody share what's a memory of when you felt the strongest, and just let everybody share for about like 1 minute or less. Or even you could have them recall it without even a sharing circle if you didn't have time, and just have them generate it and then go into the dance.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Kelly, I think strongest is a good word, but sometimes we go strongest resonates with like a victory and then adrenaline high, and then the ego kicks in for, I think, people. So I love when you use the word safety, because that's something that, you know, when I feel that in my body, it creates this room for me to be able to express. And I think that safety is somewhere where we need to start for most of us, you know, in the Western world.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing that, because actually, like, safety, when I feel really safe, I soften, and that's where the strength is, in the softness, not in the, like you said, sometimes like that, you know, I feel strong.
Yes.
That is not what's needed. It's like being more permeable and not taking anything on, and we're open and vulnerable. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yes. And you know, Lisa, when you were saying that you start class with the rhythm, like tapping into what's the rhythm of the group, I think that is a tool. What you're doing by just opening your heart to people is a way of opening your heart for space, for safety. Let me get my teeth. What are some other things that you all do to help create safety for those around you?
I diffuse essential oil. If they let me, I diffuse essential oil, and everybody loves that.
Nice.
Having everyone close their eyes and place their hands on their heart and just take breaths and allow themselves to connect within and feel, and then slowly bring their awareness into the room, into the group. And sometimes it'll just naturally happen and unfold. And just sensing into people, not with the eyes or the body, from that space where we're all one, to just allow that invitation to come into that space, starting within.
Nice. Beautiful, Rachel. I was putting my hand on my heart as you said that, and feeling a cough coming on, and it's starting to go away. Just doing what you just said. One other way.
I love that too, Rachel.
Was there something?
I think I'm going to start that way.
Say that again, Lisa.
I love that too, Rachel. I think I'm going to start that way on Friday, to allow everybody to, you know, they're all in these corporate cubicles, right? I couldn't work in that environment, but a lot of people need to be in that environment for their livelihood, or they believe in what they're doing, and both, you know. But I love the idea of having them close their eyes, and I would have them put their hand on their heart and their solar plexus, getting back into separate feelings of safety within, you know, their own bodies, but then also collectively bringing the safety up together as a group. I love that.
Yes. One of the other things that I'll do with people, if I go into, say, like a gym environment where there's a lot of hyper nervous systems, then sometimes I'll start with movement, and especially a movement they know, like, okay, let's walk the room, you know, and that gets them into a rhythm they're used to, and gets them, and then talking them into their bodies from that place can sometimes help. So there's our home of our body, and then the home of the space that we're in. So if we're, you know, whatever space you're in right now, if you just look around with your eyes and see the walls and see the ceiling or the ground that's supporting you, blink your eyes and let the colors and the shapes of things come in. And on your inhale, imagine you're just taking this in. You're letting the moment and the space that you're in be your nourishment. And as you're exhaling, letting go of anything that feels like a tension or an anxiety or a resistance. And if I had people in the group, or you could have them, you could even do it on your own, exploring your space, like facing different directions, because people will sometimes fixate on one direction. Or if you're following the videos at home and dancing, it can be very easy, like fixating on the TV. But I would invite you to, like, a big thing right now is letting the eyes look around and opening peripheral vision and allowing different perspectives of moving in your space. So like moving close to the floor or over the couch, or hanging upside down, or doing things that kids would normally do to bring balance into their bodies, but somehow we're taught as adults to act adult. And you know, we do need to pay our bills and be respectful and all of that stuff, but we can play and be silly at the same time and have a heck of a lot more joy adulting. So that would be some other ideas. So I'm going to start to wrap up our call. But if there is one thing on this call that felt most meaningful for you, like your nourishment or your juicy today, what would it be that you would want to take away for yourself personally?
Less isolation around teaching. It's there is isolation here because it's only me, but that's okay. I also find it very rewarding because it sort of plays into some of my stuff from childhood and some of the stuff that, like you said, you and I have been through some similar timelines and challenges in our life so far, and in some respects it's just a really sweet challenge to have, because it's really coinciding a lot with my my inner child healing and, you know, anything else that is needing to evolve. It's been an interesting challenge.
Thank you, Lisa. I so love dancing with you all these years, and the things we've been through, and watching each other grow and supporting each other. It brings so much pleasure to some of the hard things in life. You know, just our sharing. We've had laughs, we've had like struggles, you know, like everything. I really enjoy being in this life dancing with you.
Thank you. Same here.
Yeah, Lisa, I agree. That's what I was going to say, less isolation. But I think this is a great breakthrough, you know, to show up and to feel how we're all connected, you know, in our own little bubbles, but yet completely together. It just kind of, it gives me such a great realization. And, you know, it's like I know it, but I don't always feel it, that connection. And when we connect like this, I really feel it, you know,
Yes.
how we're all together in this.
It's amazing. It's a miracle. I love you. I feel that too. I love our connection, and this like solidifies it and puts it right in front of us to celebrate it. Thank you. Rachel, are you still with us?
Yes, community felt near and far as I'm working through some inner fire and different transitions of life. finding the grounding in the body and feeling the connection that we all share near and far. It's a beautiful confirmation. Just, you know, when someone drops into the mind, it drops into your mind or your heart, and just bouncing back that love and knowing it's felt. And being on this call face to face, but also being able to feel that support, opening up to that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Remembering that today.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Let's finish with feeling the earth again underneath us or whatever we're sitting on, or our feet, and really go into a place of thanking the earth through our body. So like that receptivity, and then also thank you through our body. And visualize all of us and anyone else that you want to put in our circle, just like imagining we're all connected arm to arm, hand to hand, open-hearted, grounded through our feet, breathing together, our rhythmic breath, dancing through the different cycles and challenges of life with joy, with our bodies, with love, with each other, growing, healing, expanding, serving, sharing, finding more wholeness. With that, take your hands together at your heart. Take a moment just to use this mudra to seal up the energy of our call. And let's, for anybody who's going to view this in the future as part of the Connect Now community portal, take a breath in, and as you look into your camera, blow the energy of your palms right out into the camera to those who will receive it. Thank you, everybody. Have a great, wonderful day. Thank you for being part of this call.
Thank you, everyone. I loved it.
Thank you. Love you.
Love you. Have a great day.
Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.